All right. And folks, oh wait, no, blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. All right, game on. If you're just joining us, Kevin and I are having more audio difficulties. I know that's a shocker for our longtime viewers. Before we get into the game slate, I got to talk about one thing that grinds my gears. Holy whiff by the people who write Stranger Things, one of my favorite TV shows, by not releasing any episodes on Halloween, and that they're doing the dumbest thing. They are releasing the first set of episodes on Thanksgiving, the next set on Christmas Day, and the final episode on New Year's Day. No, boo. All right, Kev, talk about some football games that we're going to talk about.
All right, so we got 4 good games for y'all. We got Vanderbilt at Texas. Can Vanderbilt keep this going? I mean, it was half an inch separated them from a win. And to be fair, I probably would have favored them in overtime.
Yep.
Missouri down at their backup QB, their third stringer was playing amazing. But yeah, that was a crazy end to the game. Vanderbilt looks to get it done against a Texas team that since they beat Oklahoma, they've traveled on the road to Kentucky and to Mississippi State, won nail biters in overtime. We'll see. Like, is it going to be now that Texas has just found a way to win and their fan base is excited because they have a path to the college football playoff again? Or are they about to run out of steam?
Yeah. And then Oklahoma, Tennessee, that's well, I'm going to just say it for both of them. Oklahoma, Tennessee, and USC, Nebraska. We got 2 elimination games, essentially. One for the SEC and one for the Big Ten when you're looking at those matchups. But they are, all 4 of those teams do still have a road. And in fact, now that I'm looking at the board, all of these teams do still have a road to the CFP. So it's going to be interesting. And then obviously the Big 12, we got 2 pretty heavy hitters in the Big 12 right there. They're going to be going into Salt Lake City. Cincinnati currently undefeated in Big 12 play, ranked number 17. Utah ranked number 24. They did bounce back last weekend after that BYU loss. But let's get into it, my good friend Kevin, Mr. Kev, Mr. Kevy boy. All right, Vandy at Texas. I didn't look at your text this week. Am I leading or are you leading this?
I don't think we took any leads on any intro, so why don't you take this one away?
Yeah, no. Look, I already talked about it at the other thing. The first thing I have to say here is I really don't like that person who was tweeting about Diego Pavia being ignorant. That's bad. Shockingly, when you compare Arch's numbers and Diego's, just on paper, they ain't that dissimilar. Diego's 139 for 202 on passes or completions per attempts. Arch is 143, 235, both at 15 touchdowns. And then you got Arch with 6 interceptions, a majority of which probably came in that Ohio State game, if I remember correctly. I think he had 2 in that one. Am I right, Kev?
Yes.
Okay. And then Diego's got 5 interceptions. Diego has 1698 passing yards and Arch has 1795. Big difference I got here. Diego is just more confident in gameplay. He's able to make those game time decisions, take out the Alabama game. We're not going to think about that last drive in the Alabama game. And it's been evident in his big game wins, got LSU and Missouri under the belt. I mean, will football historians look back on LSU this season as another one of the biggest flukes of the preseason? Probably, but it was still a good, hard-fought game. And, I think they really took care of business. And I also got to note that while Diego doesn't have, the really impressive, overall in the country stats, he does have the leading rush yards on that team at 458 yards. Texas, not been eliminated yet, but dang, do they got a gauntlet coming up, Kev. They got Vandy, they got Georgia, they got A&M and Arkansas. Kev, one thing I was thinking about, gun to your head right now, if Texas is going to win one of those 3 games that they're probably going to struggle on, which one do you think it is?
Man, I look at that and I think it's Texas A&M at home to end the season. I think they could play spoiler in that game.
Okay.
I do feel like sometimes have their number.
They do.
And you look at that schedule and think it's tough, but if you're a psycho Texas fan, which psycho college football fans are the best college football fans, you see that as
big time.
We have our path to the playoffs. We just have to win 3 out of 4 of those games, which you probably have to win all 4
They
of
not
them.
have to win out. I think they
probably
might have to win out.
But there is there's still undefeated teams in the SEC. But still, you see that as, I think they control their own destiny in the SEC, because who are the undefeated teams left? Texas A&M and Alabama. And
Alabama is undefeated in SEC play. Yes, that's correct.
Alabama, Texas A&M. Wait, not Ole Miss.
Vandy's got a defeat on there.
Yeah. So, Texas wins out, beats Texas A&M at the end of the season.
Georgia lost to Bama, so they got a loss on there too. Tennessee's got the loss to Georgia.
Yeah.
Parity. Yeah, I think A&M and Bama are the only undefeateds in the SEC. Yeah. That's without us looking at our phones, folks.
Yeah, we're probably missing something, so feel free to tear us a new one in the comments. But before we get into like the specific stats, because I do have some stats to back up my pick this week, but just you mentioned Vandy against Missouri, Vandy against LSU.
Mm-hmm.
What did those 2 games have in common that the Alabama game did not? Besides Vanderbilt winning versus losing.
Pass.
Home versus away. Vanderbilt, this is, I believe, their 2nd road game, 3rd road game, 4th road game of the season. I forgot they played Tech in South Carolina on the road, but Alabama on the road was lost. LSU and Missouri were home wins. So Texas is going to be. That's going to be a crowd that's out. I said, they got some hope. So if Vanderbilt does trip up, I think then we could, maybe assign them a little bit of road bugaboos.
Kev, I just gotta say, if I pass out, keep the episode going, I'm committing to the bit with this damn onesie.
Tyler's overheating, and I got an echo blasting in my ear.
Okay.
That we're going to fix.
We're doing great, folks.
But...
look, I think, but here's one thing I do want to talk about. Arch Manning, you mentioned about him going to UVA, potentially transfer portal. I want to say this: the kid is on an upward climb. I have to say, I think he's getting a little bit more confident in the stats, the pad that are showing. We do have to keep in mind, he is not cleared concussion protocol. He's still questionable. And that would potentially lead to their backup QB2, Matthew Caldwell, taking over. I want to say this as a football fan who wants to see a Manning develop in the proper way. I would rather him sit out and really come back this offseason. Look, and at a certain point, look, mathematically, Texas is not eliminated, but you got to look at it like Georgia, A&M, and Vandy. That's 3 hard games, man. And you guys have put a lot, both in NIL, like capital and everything like that, into Arch. I don't know. I know there's not a world where if he does clear it, that he's going to sit. I know that. I'm just thinking I don't want the next Manning's first season as a starter to end bad. That's all. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot that Diego Pavia is 25 years old. I talked about the mock draft with him. And then one last thing. If Vandy does pull this out, it could potentially, the highest they've ever been ranked is number 7, and that was in 1937. Do you think a win here with some other, Fugazi in the rest of the league could get them to their highest ranked ever?
We've seen the slate of games this week. I think just a win here on the road at a ranked Texas, I think that should give them.
They need number 6.
They need number 6. Okay, now I don't think they jump 3.
I think they can get to 7. I think they can maybe get to 7, but. And, I mentioned Georgia Tech, NC State. I think it would take Georgia Tech getting upset at NC State, which I got a feeling under my skin that it could happen. I don't know why. I got a feeling under my skin that could happen. One thing. Oh, Diego is ranked number 1 in the country for one thing, according to teamrankings.com. And that is He's number 1 in attempts per attempts.
What the
Yep.
hell does that mean?
I don't know, Kev. We're going to get into our picks.
All right,
now.
wait. Before we get into our picks, I got some stats to read off. I've researched this game
Sorry.
pretty well. So,
go ahead.
First of all, Vanderbilt
have a heat stroke.
crushes Texas in the all-time series. I think 7-3-1, because last year was the first time they had played since the 1930s, as you mentioned there. Now, during Coach Sark's tenure at Texas, Longhorns have been favored by 7.5 points or less at home 6 times. They've gone 2-4 against the spread.
Wow.
Texas ranks 8 in opponent adjusted yards before contact. That's the best. It's going to be the best rush unit that Vandy's faced, hands down. So I'm just going to say, like, just these are the rankings of the teams Vanderbilt's played in stack the box rush defense. South Carolina 78, Virginia Tech 82nd, Alabama 88th, Missouri 91st, LSU 92nd. Now we look at Texas's run defense stats. Yards per attempt 2.9, that's ranked 11th. Early contact rate 55%, that's ranked 18th. Stuff rate 28%, that's ranked 11th. So Vanderbilt does run a very predictable game plan. You know, it's going to be up the middle. So they get the box stacked against them all the time. That's the reason why I'm going so hard on those stacked box stats.
I got you.
Vanderbilt cannot afford to get into 3rd and longs. They're not great there. However, Diego Pavia, he's really not that good of a passer. He's a boom or bust guy. Okay, so do you know what EPA is? And this is the last stat, I promise. Then we'll get into the picks because we're long.
Something
EPA.
Something per attempt.
Expected points added per play. All right, so you drop back, you take a sack, that's going to drop your expected points out of the drive by a little bit. Or you complete like a 20-yard pass. That's going to, all of a sudden, your expected points was 3 that drive, now it's 5. Anyway, Pavia generates an EPA of 1 or higher on 24% of his dropbacks. So that's 15th in the country in good. So 15th in the country in explosive play rate. He generates a negative 1.0 EPA or worse on 32% of his dropbacks. One of the worst in the SEC, one of the worst in the country. So that means when he drops back to pass, he's either getting a 20-yard downfield conversion or he's getting sacked, fumbling, throwing picks, something like that. So click the pick. I do all that to say absolutely nothing. We're both in line here. This is going to be my first time picking Vanderbilt. This is the 4th time we feature them.
Picking Vanderbilt. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Kev. And the one thing that I got to say, because you've been talking a lot, and it's my turn now, is that
I've been talking double because I hear my echo.
That's fair. And I might be hallucinating it because I think I'm having a heat stroke as we're talking right now. But that being said, I think that this is another dumb trap game. Why is Vanderbilt the dog? Like, is it the home field advantage? Is there something that Vegas knows that I don't? But the last time I had this discussion, it was BYU and Iowa State, and
True.
I just got punched right in the teeth when I went on this rampage. So I'm just going to walk it back. And then, Vegas is going to be like, no, we're kidding. This actually is a trap game. Oh, and Kev, I know you're probably seeing some numbers are different than the slides you sent me. We don't have, according to DraftKings, sponsor us, please, any half points in the spreads this week. So there is a world where all of our spreads push.
Better than 2 weeks ago.
Better than the alternative. But I'm on Vandy. Kev, you're on Vandy.
Just to close this one out, I think the reason why Texas is the favorite is Vegas sees Vanderbilt as equivalent to Oklahoma. Coming in, relying, if they're going to run, it's going to be up the middle. It's predictable. Not a great passing attack or inconsistent passing attack. And a Texas very stout defense. Very stout defense. They're in their front 8. Maybe this turns into honestly, maybe Vandy loses 17-10, complete reverse of last week. But I picked against Vandy so many times and been wrong. I'll give them their props here because I also don't like Texas.
You saying that just made me feel so uncomfortable. Okay, but got anything else or we want to go to the next one?
Let's go to the next one.
fantastic. We get our first elimination game for the SEC. Yeah, Kev, in the notes you said, if you're doing Tennessee like me, let's just both do money line, please. No. Okay, so yeah. Kev, you went over some boring numbers. You want me to go through some boring like team stat numbers here? Let me.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. Tennessee offense has 510.1 yards per game, third overall in the country. 321.4 yards per game puts them third passing in the country. 45.6 points per game, second in the country. They're a throwing cannon team. Joey Aguilar, he likes to get that ball around. I really like Joey Aguilar. However, their defense, completely different story. It's like the Cincinnati Bengals almost. They got 405.1. Wait, 401.5. I'm dyslexic. Yeah, not trying to be offensive. Sorry, everyone. 401.5 yards per game. That puts them at 102nd in the country. 266.9 yards per game allowed on passing. 134.6 yards per game allowed on rushing. 30.9 allowed points per game puts them at 112th. Flip the script. You can almost do the exact opposite for Oklahoma. Their offense, the highest ranking they have is 55th in the country when it comes to their passing yards. That's 246.4. But looking at their defense for their allowed, you got 240.3 yards per game. That's sixth overall. And then 12.5 points per game allowed. That puts them at fifth. So when Tennessee has the ball, it's going to be electrifying football. When Oklahoma has the ball, it's going to look like Pee-wee. That's what I'm garnering from this. There's going to be some mistakes on it. Look, okay. It's taking a step back from all the boring numbers that I just went over. Looking at this one, we have to understand the clutch factor, all right? That's what it comes down to for me. Tennessee is just one bad field goal away from probably a number 8 ranking or better if they would have put it away against Bama. Oklahoma, on the other hand, has dropped the ball twice in games that they were favored in with both Texas and Ole Miss. And that was when John Mateer was still on the whole Heisman race. I know that he got the whole injury and everything, but he came back and he looked a lot worse, kind of worse than their backup. What's his name again? No, not Jake Browning. That's the Bengals. Jesus.
Jake Browning.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. One thing here, though, Kev. These quarterbacks are going to be pressured. That's the one thing I will say. I don't know if you saw that too, but when it comes to sack percentage,
Michael Hawkins Jr.
Yep, Michael Hawkins Jr. That's right. Yeah, I just talked a lot and I complained at you last time. You go.
Okay. I don't have much to add to that, but here Tennessee has a very good run defense. When they're stacking the box. I'm coming back to this stacking the box thing because Oklahoma spreads that thing out. And Tennessee has a horrible run defense against spread offenses. Then this is just a stat to kind of think about because this game really is, you can go through the numbers. It's going to be a vibe thing. Like, does the atmosphere of Neyland Stadium, is that going to outweigh maybe perceived matchup disadvantages they have? We'll see. But Tennessee, ranked 42nd in yards before contact. Oklahoma is ranked second in yards before contact allowed. Okay, so what that means is Oklahoma's going to touch you real quick. All right. But then Tennessee ranked 13th in yards after contact. Oklahoma ranked 89th in yards after contact. So that means Oklahoma gets to the ball carrier quick, but they got a lot of trouble bringing them down. And if you want to electrify a crowd, a home crowd in a hostile environment, you let them break runs where they, stiff arm a guy in the backfield, juke somebody out at the line of scrimmage. That could be Oklahoma's downfall.
Yep.
Should we just get to our picks? Or you guys?
Yeah, but before you do that, Kev, I just want to talk. Like you mentioned, Oklahoma's rush defense, grand old rushing defense was number 2 ranked at both opponent yards per rush and opponent rush yards per game. So we're going to need our boy, Joey Aguilar, to really step up and be that cannon that he has shown us he can be all season. I do have some source stats for that. Right now he's ranked number 4 in the country in terms of total pass yards at 23.44 and 9.3 yards per pass attempts puts him at number 10. One little thing that I thought of, I would love it if Tennessee had a little bit more of a challenging schedule to end the season and give this kid some more chances to potentially show that he has it in him for the Heisman. Just because I love watching him play and I love his story and everything, but I don't know. He's kind of like on the peripheral, and we'll see what happens, but I don't see it right now. Let's get into the picks.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like the under pick, Kev.
Wow.
I just, again, it's the clutch factor, and they're at home in Knoxville. So I'm copying.
And we love that background we figured out how to do on the slide there.
Yep.
We love that.
How to do it. I copy and pasted it.
Even though I'm saying it's going to be the under, I did actually realize right before recording this, Tennessee's down their 2 starting quarterbacks, Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson. So they're going to have to force turnovers. Their secondary is going to have to boss up against the spread.
Yeah.
I'm honestly now more confident in my pick Tennessee money line than I am the under, but we're going to let that ride.
Yeah, let's let it ride. And I like the pick just because of my golden rule of tight spreads and unders. So next game. Okay. This is the one that Kevin vetoed me on my pick for coverage and wanted USC versus Nebraska. Talking about Mr. Matt Rhule, who coincidentally has come out on, I believe it was McAfee, when he was, hold on one second.
When he said he's not going to be taking the Penn State gig.
Yeah, which coincidentally happened, a week after he got stomped by Minnesota. I wonder if that's got anything to do with it, but okay, Matt. Yeah. I don't know why I thought Nebraska had more losses. I guess it's just like the ones that they've had have been just high profile enough, like with Michigan and Minnesota.
And that Minnesota one was on a Friday night, so
that
it was
true.
very isolated.
Very much in your face about that upset loss. Yeah, no, I got you. Speaking of Michigan, we got us a transitive property here, Kev. Okay.
Yes,
we do. Nebraska lost to Michigan by 3. USC beat Michigan in a blowout by 18. That puts USC at 21 points better than Nebraska. Yeah.
And this math did work out very well for you, Miami, Louisville.
And
saying.
I'm also just saying, remember when I made that point about JMU?
True.
Yeah.
I think you can look on the slide here and you can see what happened in Nebraska's 2 losses. They got under 50 yards rushing. So that is the recipe, is to turn them into a one-trick pony. And they're pretty decent at that one-trick pony passing game if they need to. Who knows? Like I was at a post-rehearsal dinner for that Minnesota game, so I didn't watch it. But the Michigan game, they were competitive. You can see USC does give up rushing yards.
Yeah.
They don't have a dominant rush defense. The lines, now it's negative. Okay, I think it was like 7.5 when I picked, maybe
it was
6.5.
At 6 on DraftKings like today. So
yeah, and I picked Nebraska to beat Michigan. That was one of my early season
Yeah, we still. That was a great game, though, man. You remember that was when Dylan Raiola threw that like 1 second before. Yeah, that was a good game. To your point, though, about them like losing when they don't get ahead of the rush, I completely agree, because like they've been having a hard time with passing. Wait, hold on 1 second. He has not been able to get to 200 passing yards in 3 of the last 4 games. But is that Dylan Raiola's fault? Their O-line is a definite scapegoat there, as they have been inconsistent, allowing 12 sacks. That was only in the first 2 games that they were playing, okay? And they had, 5 turnovers in the last 2 games on that offensive possessions. Remember, Kev, I did say to you at the beginning of the season, is Dylan Raiola too good for Nebraska?
You did.
If I'm him, I'm getting a little pissed off at just not being protected, and I'd be eyeing up the transfer portal if I was him.
Does he still have another year?
I know. As soon as I said that, I wondered. I wondered to my. Okay, you say something while I look that up.
Yeah, you look that up.
Yeah,
I believe I saw that Nebraska's had 4 different starting O-line rotations this year in 8 games. So
yeah,
that's not great. I think it's going to come down to resiliency, because did USC win last week? They might have had a bye, but they suffered that loss to Notre Dame in week 8. I know Minnesota beat Nebraska in week 8. So they both had bounce back wins last week. I think if there was one thing that I would critique USC for, and it might just be I'm getting biased by that Caleb Williams season, they let a loss kind of crush them, especially if it's the second loss of the season. If it's like that, like a loss to Colorado or a loss to Utah, they'll let it get in their heads and they'll let it tank their season. Whereas Nebraska, those boys, they could lose every day and it wouldn't change their, like, they're still remembering their grandpappy's run at the Natty. Like they love their football team, even though they hate them. Like they're going to be their fans. Like and I think that energizes the players, especially a home game. USC, man, click mine so you can see my pick and then you can keep talking.
All right.
Give me that, baby. 6.5. We said it couldn't be done. That's a half point right there.
Yeah. All right. So are you saying you're going to take the alternate even though the spread is at 6?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
If that gives me some help.
That's fair. Kev, just another thing, the AP poll people keep confusing me. I don't understand how they move up after a bye week, USC, but whatever. I digress. Talking about I was listening to that goofy analyst, Josh Pate, with the weirdest voice on planet Earth today. And he gave me a little tidbit.
I think it's Pate.
Pate.
Yeah, the bald guy.
It's not, but okay. Right now, Nebraska has lost 28 straight against AP ranked teams. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one. And regardless of the spread, but spread this year, not looking good for Nebraska. 2-5-1. Yeah, they're not a good spread coverage team.
But what about against ranked teams? I think they covered the spread against Michigan. Their only ranked matchup at home this year. Wasn't it 3.5 points? You keep talking. I'm going to look up our slides.
Okay, yeah,
from
you
that
look
week.
that up. Well, I come up my last point here, which is both of these teams, like we talked about, they're still in contention for the Big Ten championships somehow after these losses. I do think that on paper, USC has some better losses, so to speak. Oh, and I'm taking USC -6 just because I do like Jaden MWAHAHA, and I think that Nebraska has some holes they have to fill. And to your point, Kev, about West Coast fans, they just don't exist. That's what it comes down to with football.
Unless it's like a Washington, Oregon State. Like you got some little enclaves of them up in the Northwest, but California fans are a little fair weather.
And Oregon fans don't even care about football. They care about talking about other things.
Also, wait, did you say Cal? Because something we forgot to talk about on the recap. How about them Hokies, baby?
How about them Hokies?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Got me my birthday present. Oh, I love that.
Losing could put Lincoln Riley on the hot seat.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But the only thing that would save him is it's in style to fire your coach this year, but that means
it's like the trendy
people
thing.
come late to the game because they're like USC is not a program like Tech, who like Tech's going to get probably like a B to B plus coach. USC would be shooting for an A plus coach, and those are going to get scooped up by Penn State, by Florida, like by LSU, by the teams who have already fired their coach.
Right. And you mentioned it, Kev. Thanks for reminding me. Some daily breaking news, not like breaking this second, but Tech is working out negotiations with James Franklin right now, from what I'm hearing. And Penn State is working with Sam Pittman from Arkansas.
Man,
nothing's been finalized. Nothing's in ink.
I want Gruden, but that's okay.
Dude, I saw people online saying that Tech's going to take Beamer, and I'm like, no, it's
no.
People, whatever. Next game, Cincinnati, Utah. This is the one I'm most excited about.
College game day, right?
Yeah, it is college game day, dude. Oh, before we go any further, big noon kickoff is going back to Columbus for Ohio State and Penn State.
That sounds like they made some agreements in the early season.
Yeah.
Like in the preseason, they signed some stuff. They were like, this is a sure thing.
I mean, it's always fun nowadays with the Barstool guys on Big Noon Kickoff. It's always funny when they go to Columbus because Dave Portnoy's just talking mad trash to everybody at Ohio State, and it's so funny to watch. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong page.
Hey, James Franklin always does such a good job, like talking in those pre-show. So now we'll have a lot of time to.
Dude, I want Brian Kelly on this week. Let's go. Let's go.
We should reach out to him.
Yeah.
All right. We have a good game here. Like this one came under everyone's radar because Cincinnati lost to Nebraska week 1 on Thursday. So that's essentially preseason, really. That's before all the you remember Boise State lost on Thursday too.
Yep.
So since then,
that was that season opener against USF, right?
Yeah, season. Yeah.
Okay.
While we were recording our inaugural week episode, second episode.
We were recording while the game was going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we checked and realized that we were already wrong with our first one. But
we live and we grow.
Yeah. So 7 in a row. They stole all the hype from actually, I don't want to say they stole the hype from Iowa State. They kind of just smothered it. And now they didn't absorb their hype by any means, but now they're 17th in the country. That line is crazy because it was 9.5, I think, when I set these slides up. So the fact that, and then the one thing I forgot to do was look to see if Utah just has Cincy's number or something, because you look at the 3 games we put up and Utah, sometimes they're great, like Colorado last week, but when they gave up 202 rushing yards to BYU, they gave up 149 rushing yards to Arizona State. Passing yards, I guess they're pretty good in those games, but Cincinnati has a balanced attack. They can do it either way they want, and they got experience in big games. Just as in the last 5 years or so, last 8 years, this is going to be their 3rd college game day, 1-1 in those games. So I don't know, man. Utah they choked against BYU, and yeah, I'm surprised that line's 10. You tell me why it's 10. Yeah. They choked against Texas Tech in the spotlight. I mean, I put 2 of their good games on there for you to look at, but yeah, they choked against Texas Tech.
Yep. And
BYU. Why is it a 10-point spread? You tell me. I'm going to look up the series history between these boys.
What I'm going to talk about is, look, it's an altitude game. That's one thing. Since he is traveling for this one, that's one thing that I can think about why this might be happening. And we also got to look at Evan Pryor, the leading rusher for Cincinnati, is going to be out. Now, that's not to say that they don't have other people they can lean on. You know what I mean? I mean, Sorsby himself is a very mobile QB with 425 rush yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. That puts him number 35 in the country as a rushing QB, very mobile. And they are going to have to rely on their running back number 2, that kid Tawee Walker, who is their chippy RB number 2, who doesn't have a lot of impressive explosive runs, but he does have 90 rushing attempts on the year, which does put him at number 2 in the country. One thing I do have to note, Sorsby, that kid does not give the ball away, man. I don't know if you saw that stat, but he has not thrown an interception since that first week game against Nebraska. So I think Utah's going to have to really get good coverage on him. Really good coverage on all their receivers to kind of balance that out. And, I haven't watched enough Cincinnati to confidently say this one way or the other, but it seems like Sorsby is just those typical Big 12 quarterbacks who are just really good at game time decision making. You know what I mean? And that's how he's able to get that low interception percentage. All right. What else do I got here? Devin Dampier is set to start this weekend. Okay. He did miss Colorado where they blew him out last week. They kind of came back from BYU there. But one thing I want to say, Kyle Whittingham has been the one who has said, yes, he's definitely playing. Can you think of another time when Kyle Whittingham just straight rug pulled us talking about a player's injury? That's right, Cam Rising at the beginning of the year. Now, maybe Kyle Whittingham is doing a little Chauncey Billups action here. Topical. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they are going to pivot, but if that does happen, Isaac Wilson will be the next man up, a true sophomore who's coming off a bad 2024 season. And then the other thing is just Utah does not have any injuries that are going to be affecting their starting lineup. I looked, they got 5 players who are on the injured list this week, and none of them were in the starting lineup last week when they blew out Colorado. Utah against the spread as a 10-point or more favorite is 4-0-0 this year.
Wow. Well,
it's one thing to know.
It's just crazy. They're a 10-point favorite, and this is actually the first matchup between these teams.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Wait,
Cincinnati ever?
Damn.
Unless I screwed up that Google search, but yeah, Cincinnati elevation 742 feet, Salt Lake City 4,300. So yeah, they might have some altitude issues, but
I
don't know. I feel like you see that in fights. You don't see that in college football games. And then the only other thing I'd like to put up, because I'm looking at we kind of moved away from the PFF rankings after we relied on them so heavily, and then when it combined 1 and 12 or whatever. But Utah's tackling PFF grade 62.5 compared to Cincinnati's 90.3. Like Cincinnati might. I can't believe it's 10. If it's
I can't either. Do we want to get into the picks?
I'll do next week episode naked if they lose by more than 10.
Clip. Picks.
Yeah. And I'm going Utah to cover. No. Wow. Whoa.
I know. I'm a pansy.
Nearly so bad about that Tennessee money line pick.
Look, it's too many points. I think Utah's going to win. I'm going to parlay it with the over because I think it's just going to be. Here's what I have written down. Big spread, Big 12, big points, big money.
Wait, for the folks at home, can you do your Stitch voice real quick?
Say that same thing again.
For the folks at home, can you do your Stitch voice real quick?
And say that same thing.
For the folks at home.
Big spread, Big 12, big points, big money.
Let's go. We should have started the video with that.
All right, let's get on to the summary.
All right. Good summary.
Yeah, all right.
And you updated it. Well, so yeah, Cincinnati was 8.5 when I first made this.
Yeah,
who's pushing them? Who's seeing that?
No, okay, I didn't update the column on the left. I updated our picks though to accurately. Or no, I didn't. I didn't update the.
That's fine. I like doing the slide as like a nice time capsule of when I made the slide.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I'm always wondering.
You made this 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, Tuesday night. Yeah.
God, Vegas on top of their stuff. Let's get into some parlays. Before we do that, praise be, Jared.
Yeah, you see that little icon I added next to him?
But GOAT. Like
5-0 or 6-0 now?
I think he's 6-0, and that's why he's probably he gave me a spicy pick this week. Look, I'm not one
He's trying to lose.
I mean, if I'm him, he's playing with house money. He told me, so I might just start taking his picks.
I've not made one of his bets.
Why?
I've only made my dumbass bets.
Kev, I'm going to tell you right now, the second that you or I makes one of his picks, he's going to get his first loss. No. We can't, out of respect for the game. Why don't you go through your parlay, big dog?
All right, so this was one because I made these slides very late, like 11:30 p.m. after work on Tuesday. So I got to say I didn't put my heart into this vibe check, but I usually do, and I usually am dead wrong. So let's just see what we got. Georgia and Florida, they're playing in that, what is it called? Not the Backyard Brawl. They got a cool name. Or like the world's biggest barbecue or cookout. They play in Jacksonville. All the college students go and get drunk on the beach. It's usually a close game, but I think You can get Georgia 3.5 to cover, like for
Okay.
-185. Good. Mississippi State on the road against Arkansas. These are two teams that
Wait, are they the dog in that game?
they're the dog against a team that just fired their coach. You might want to look now because I made this 2 days ago. Maybe it's changed, but I think they're like a 4-point
The
underdog.
odds might have changed on Cavs.
Yeah.
I didn't double check you. Yeah.
Then
but
Georgia
we'll-
Tech, essentially money line against NC State.
Yeah.
I do have that feeling that it might be a trap game. I don't know why.
Right?
Like I think
Yeah. I
everyone
don't
thinks
either.
NC State's better than they are this year because
It's like
they are really having a down season. Usually
They
they're
are.
the team to steal an upset, but I don't know if it's them that year.
Is
The
Dorian
UFC
on the hot seat? There's another one. You know?
Yeah, after NC State lost to the Hokies, that's when he went on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And then the UFC card this week kind of sucks. I got my pick right again last week in UFC. It was a 2-1 underdog. Called him getting the win. Shout out Volkov. Main event ended with an eye poke, no contest. That was a big letdown. Anyway, so what did I do? I have staying with Jacksonville money line on the road against the Raiders.
Oh, okay. I got you. Jack money line on the. God, I don't even know if I want to like hear about that game. Kansas. I got Kansas State +7 versus Texas Tech. They've been playing good second half of the season, and I think Texas Tech is going to pull away with the win, but touchdowns just a little bit. And
Is
I'm
it
going to be
in
honest.
Manhattan or is it in Lubbock?
It's in Manhattan. Yeah.
Okay.
Notre Dame alternate team total over 37.5. I couldn't go. I wanted to get a 34.5 just to get me but it's Boston College, the worst team in the ACC, I think. So yeah, I look, if they don't make this one, then I'm done doing the alternate team total overs. It's just backfiring too much. And then Michigan -21 versus Purdue. I think that Michigan still wants to think that they're in the race some way, somehow. Hold on, let me pull up that graphic that I had on my phone because, and Michigan fans, are they still in it? Yes, they're still a contender. The only other contender they have to play is Ohio State. God, I hope that Ohio State just buries them this year.
Oh no, I was gonna say let them beat Ohio State. That would be so funny.
It would be okay. I hope there's a brawl. That's all. But so that would get you to +449, and basketball is back up. So I wanted to give a quick, shout out to the NBA. I think the father-son duo gets it done as the Dogs against the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow night. What is my reasoning for that? Vibes. So the total parlay will get you +1076 with my bonus pick. I would recommend y'all just stick with my football picks if I'm being honest with you. And then altogether with everything that comes into the crazy heads of me and Kev, you can get +6697. Again, don't recommend that just because of my NBA pick. I recommend you guys take the football pick instead, which is +1920. And then per the Oracle, he is telling us to take JJ McCarthy passing and rushing yards combined. This is a DraftKings prop over 233.5 yards. He's expecting that boy to come back hot from an injury. And who am I to judge? Who am I to second guess the man?
Dude, we are not in a position to even hold a candlestick to him. However, let's end by I'm going to just ask you rapid fire. Which of these 3 games is going to be closest? All right. We're going top 10. Indiana on the road at Maryland. Georgia playing Florida, neutral territory. Georgia Tech on the road at NC State. Which one's closest?
Georgia Tech, NC State.
All right. Call me crazy. I'm saying Indiana survives the scare this week.
That was going to be my second.
All right.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be what was the second one?
Georgia, Florida.
Yeah, no. Kirby Smart's going to make the Gators just wish they'd never been born. It's going to be bad. But yeah, no, I could see that. Okay. That being said, folks, happy Halloween. Not the most exciting slate the weekend, but there's still college football is always exciting. Who am I kidding? It's always going to be fun to watch. So if you got time, you got, everybody's got a little bit of candy left over, sit on your couch, get fat, eating some chocolate, enjoy some football, maybe enjoy a couple adult beverages or two. And then, let's go.
Yeah.
Kev,
Enjoy a couple adult beverages or two.
or two.
Or a couple.
It's like that Shane Gillis SNL skit. Hey, try a couple of beers.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.